Hello everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. This is day 4 of Appian Bootcamp and I have Ankit with me. So welcome Ankit on the channel and as you are delivering lots of quality content and knowledge to the audience on daily basis. So far we have completed 3 sessions and I hope in this session also you will be sharing some new things with the audience. So let's start with the session. And before that, I just want to request you please follow Sanjay Gupta Tech School on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Telegram because other than Appian, you will find lots of information there. And if you want to know everything about Appian, so the session tracker link you can find in the video's description. So this is about this channel, and now I hand over mic to Ankit. So Ankit also have one dedicated YouTube channel for Appian. So over to you, Ankit. Let's start with the session.
Thanks, Sanjay sir. So, if you want to learn more about Appian, you can go to the Code Master. The link is in description, and there you can find the previous sessions as well, and that other query questions or that some small sessions. Okay, so you can find everything there, and there is a Telegram group as well, the Code Master with the name of Code Master. So if you have any query, you can post there, or you can. So we will look and we will provide you the solution for that particular. So in our last session, we discussed about folders, like how folders work, what is the Appian folder, and how many type of folders are there, and what we have that discussion in depth. So today we will discuss about data types in Appian. Okay. So first is like what is Appian data type. So in general, what is data type? So suppose there is an information, okay, and each and every type of information have some categories. So suppose like I'm asking someone, his or her name. So he, so they can tell me that my name is Ankit. Okay. So the Ankit is text, right? Same like if I'm asking someone, age. So age can be like integer or decimal. If I'm asking someone the date of birth, so date of birth can be date type, right? So each and every information have a type. So in Appian also we have similar data types. So to store the particular value, okay, we create some variables. On each and every variable have some types. Okay. So like other language, Appian also provides some built-in data types. Built-in data type means so these are the out of the box data types that you can directly use. You no need to create these data types. Okay. So there are some examples. There are many more, but some of the examples are here, like text, number integer, number decimal, date and time, boolean. So if I want a name to store, okay, so I will use text. If I want to store some integer type of value like age or like postal code or something, so I will use number integer. If I want decimal type like salary of some person or some calculation type of thing where that it can be accepted decimal, so I will use number decimal. If I want date type like date of birth, so I will use date type. If I want to capture date and time, like I can say like today's date and time or current date and time, so in that case I will use date and time. If there is a question that answer can be yes or no, okay, so in that case I will use boolean. Okay, so these are some of the examples of built-in data types in Appian, but Appian provide many more built-in data types that we will use when we will work on application. Okay, so how we can implement built-in data type, or how we can use built-in data type in an expression or interface or any other artifact. Okay, so I can show you that. So this is one of the expression editor. Okay, we will read about this in our next session, but for today we will just learn how we use the data types. Okay, in this one. So from right side you can see here we have rule inputs. Okay, so I can create a rule input. Rule input is nothing but a variable. Okay, for a particular expression. So from here I can create rule input. Suppose there is a rule input employee name. Okay, so you know that employee name can be only text, right? And no one have the name in number, integer or decimal. So I will use text. Okay, if I want someone's age can be like, integer. Generally we use integer. We can use decimal as well, but number we generally use integer. Okay, if I ask about salary, so salary can be decimal as well. So I will go here in type. Okay, this is data type. Okay, I will click on this drop down, and you can see these are some of the out of the box data types that Appian provide. So for salary, I will select number decimal, right? If I want to capture date of birth, then I will use date type, right? If I want current date and time or timestamp, so I will use date and time, right? So like this, we can provide a type to a particular variable. Okay, so that is the way. Now suppose there is an expression. These are some functions that we will read, but for now you can just see. So this is age, okay, and age is number integer, right? So it is giving me error, right? Because it will accept only integer, because its type is integer only, right? So it will give me error. So I can only put here integer value. Okay, this is text. In this one, I can put the text, so it won't give any error. Okay. Similarly, in date of birth, okay, I can give date only. Okay, like this. In date and time, you can see here date and time both are available. So I can select date as well as time also. But in date type of variable, you can see we have only date. We do not have time. Okay. In salary, I can put decimal also, like 1.5, 1.4, something like that I can put here. Okay. So these are built-in data types and how we can use it. Okay, so we can use, like, we can create a variable and that we can provide a data type to that particular variable. Okay, so like this we can create. So later on, whenever we will work on this expressions or interface, we will learn more about this, like how we can use this, like that Appian provides some functions. So if you want to add something, you can use, but that we will learn whenever we will work on expression rules. Okay. Now these are built-in data types, right? Where you no need to create Appian out of the box provided. Now come to the custom data type. Custom data type is a data type that we will create. Okay, Appian does not provide this out of the box. We have to create the custom data type. Okay, and custom data type we create with the help of built-in data type. So suppose there is address. Okay, so some address can be like street, okay, city, country, postal code. Okay, so these are the so address have multiple subfields, right? So for address, we cannot take data type as text, we cannot take data type as integer, because it is the combination of multiple subfields. Okay, so like postal code can be integer, right? And street name can be text. Okay, so it will be the combination of built-in data types. So to create the custom data type, we use built-in data type. Okay, and now uses of custom data type. Okay, so organizing the related data. So we just read about address. Okay, so address is each and every field, like street, city, country, phone number, or postal code, all are related to address. Okay, so to organize this type of related data, we use custom data type. If suppose there is employee, okay, and I'm storing employee details. So employee have employee's name, employee age, employee's number, employee address, everything is related to employee. Okay, So to organize the similar type of data, we use custom data type. Okay. So for that purpose, we create custom data type. Second is reusability. So suppose address, okay, and I want to use address in multiple types. Like address can be for an employee, address can be for a customer, address can be for a particular office or an organization. Okay, so address we can use multiple times. Okay, so we can create a custom data type and we can reuse wherever we need the address. Okay, so its purpose is to reusability as well. Okay. Third is define structure of a database table or database view. Okay. So database table. So database table also have multiple data types, right? Inside this. So suppose in database table, I'm creating a database table that is for employee. Okay. An employee data table have employee name. It can be text or varchar. Employee ID that can be primary key and integer or it can be auto incremented as well. There can be employee salary, it can be in decimal. Okay, so there is a table. So to define the structure of database table, we use CDT in Appian. Okay, so for the employee table, if you want to create a CDT, we will create and we will add these employee related table fields that we are using in database table. Similarly for database view also, because database view is also a virtual table, right? So for database view also, we create CDT, okay, to define the structure of that database view. Okay, so these are main three purpose to create custom data type. Okay, so how we can create custom data type in Appian? So there are four ways we can create from scratch. Okay, so you can provide the template. We will go through that. Then if there is existing custom data type, we can duplicate that. Okay, and we can duplicate the existing one and we can do some changes whatever we are needed. Okay, if there is a already database table or database view exists, we can use the database table and database view and we can create the CDT using that. CDT is a short form of custom data type. Okay, and fourth is import XSD. XSD is like XML schema definition. Okay, so we can create the CDT using XSD as well. Okay, so now we will go through one by one. So first create from scratch. So similarly, we will go here. Okay, and we'll click on data type to create custom data type. Okay, and you can see here we have four options: create from scratch, duplicate existing data type, create from database table or database view, and for the import XSD. Okay, so first we will create from scratch. Now you can see here we have one term that is namespace. So namespace is nothing but a URL that is used to uniquely identify a particular category. Okay, category means like you can say it is a compartment. So in compartment, we use the similar type of data. Like if I'm creating an application for employee onboarding, so to employee onboarding, we will create same namespace because everything there can be multiple table for employee onboarding, right? Employee details, address details, or any other details. We will have multiple tables and we will have multiple CDTs. But to create a container or to create a category, we will use employee onboarding for that. Okay, so this is namespace. Now it will automatically take the application initials as we discussed last time as well. Now you can give the name. So suppose I'm creating for address or I'm creating for employee. Okay. So to store the employee basic details, I can create a CDT. Okay. Now I have put the name, and in name we cannot put space or any special characters. Okay, it will give the error. So we have to just use. We can just use underscore, but we cannot use any other space and all. Now I have to click on create. And you can see here, Appian provided the template, okay, to create a CDT. So its name is AB employee basic details that we provided, and now I can add fields. So suppose I'm creating a CDT and I'm adding first field like employee ID. So employee ID can be number integer, right? Now employee name, it can be text, right? Similarly, I'm adding age, it can be integer. I'm adding date of birth. You can give any name, but it's best practice to use camel casing. Salary, okay, that can be in decimal. So these all are, built-in data type only, right? And with the help of built-in data type, we are creating custom data type, okay? So it's like a structure or a, collection of similar data type or data. Okay. So I have to simply click on save changes and CDT is created, okay? So you have to just add field, whatever fields you are needed, and CDT will be created, okay? So it is very easy to create from scratch. Suppose you have table for this particular CDT and you want to match its table. So, and this particular field is primary key in table. So you can go here on this key sign, click on this one, and you can make it as primary key, okay? And if you want that primary key to auto-generated value, so suppose first value is 1, so it will automatically take second value as 2, okay? So for that, you can click on this checkbox, okay? And you have to just click on save. So like this, you can create the CDT. If you want to give the limit of length of the value, particular value, you can give like default is 255, but you can increase or you can decrease as well. So in employee name, you want only 30 characters, maximum 30 characters, you can give 30, okay? Like this, you can update. So this is the way to create a CDT from scratch, okay? Now, there are some, points that we should discuss. So first is CDT namespace that we already discussed. That CDT namespace is the URL or a virtual container, okay, or virtual categories, okay, to create a particular type of CDT. Now, CDT UUID. UUID is universal ID, okay? So universal ID is to identify a particular artifact in Appian, we use UUID, and that will be unique across the environment, okay? So generally, in other artifact, like we created last time groups or folder, Appian automatically create UUID, okay? That is a alphanumeric key. In CDT, the UUID, is the name plus namespace, okay? So with the similar name and namespace, I cannot create other CDT. I can create with the same name, I can create with the same namespace, but with the combination of name and namespace, I cannot create. So suppose if I want to create the CDT with same name and same namespace, it won't allow me. It will give me the error, okay? So we cannot create that. So to uniquely identify, we use name plus namespace. So like 2 CDT can have same name and 2 CDT can have same namespace as well, but the combination cannot be same, okay? And once you created CDT name and namespace, it cannot be changed. Like, then that in other artifacts that we learn in our last sessions, like groups and folders, we can change the name also, right? By going to the properties. But in CDT, you cannot change, okay? This is coming in read only, right? And namespace is also disabled or read only. So you cannot change. You can only change the description. So once you create it, there won't be any option to change the name. You can only delete and recreate the CDT if you want, okay? But you cannot change the name. Nested CDT. So nested CDT is a format where you can, instead of decimal, like that suppose I'm adding one field, address, okay, and the address is also a structural data type, right? Address can have also have the fields like street, or country, or zip, postal code. So address also a structural data type. So address will also have a CDT. So we can use the custom data type also here. Okay, so I can use the address CDT also instead of built-in data type. So that we call as nested CDT. Okay, so we can use CDT inside other CDT. Now there is other option, duplicate existing data type. Okay, so suppose we have this data type and I want to create
Songit, there is one question. Anchit is asking, can you please also tell limitations or best practices to consider when designing custom data types?
Yes. So if you talk about best practices, so first, that you have to define the length. Okay. So suppose if I'm defining 4,000, okay, and that is employee name. Employee name cannot be 4,000 length, right? So it is a best practice to define the length. Second is naming convention. Okay. Naming convention is like, that employee ID. So we generally use camel casing. In some organization we use lower camel case. In some organization we use upper camel case. But we should use, camel casing in this case. Okay. If you talk about limitations, so in terms of limitations, that CDT is on, CDT have multiple use cases, but that one limitation you cannot change the name, right? So for that, if in some of the use cases there is a requirement to change the name, okay, you have to delete and recreate. And if you're deleting the particular CDT but you are using this CDT in multiple objects already, okay, so in that case you have to go to those objects and manually change that CDT. Okay, there is no any other way. So we have to take care whenever we are creating the CDT that it already that it won't change the name. Okay, so whenever we are creating, we have to take care of this particular thing. And as well as namespace also. Okay, because namespace and name are part of UUID, and anything that is part of UUID cannot be changed in Appian, either in interface, either in expression rules, or any other artifact. We cannot change the UUID. Okay, it will be fixed. But in other artifacts, UUID is created by Appian, so we no need to take care. Okay, but in CDT, UUID is the combination of name and namespace. That's why Appian does not allow to change this. Okay, otherwise there can be problem, right? So this is one of the limitations, and these are the best practices that we should use. But suppose if you are using the particular CDT in a database table, okay, so in CDT we give the name of CDT field and database field that we will discuss in our next session whenever we will discuss CDT from XSD. So we give the CDT field name and database field name as well. Okay. So sometimes CDT field name can be different and database field can be different. Like employee ID is the CDT name here, right? Where E is in cap and ID also in cap. But in database field, we have the name as employee _ ID. Okay. So we have to define both names in CDT. First for CDT field name and other for table field name. If you do not define that particular field name, so Appian automatically create that field in database table. Okay, Appian won't match that particular field with database field name because you do not define the in one of the case you did not define the database field name. So Appian will think that there is no any field exist with this particular name, and Appian will automatically create that one. Okay, if you do not give the size of field, so for text, Appian automatically will take 255. Okay. And suppose in Boolean case, if you are defining the Boolean in CDT and you are not defining the database field type, so it will automatically take tiny int. Okay. But if you want, in Boolean in CDT and like string in database, you have to define in XSD. Okay, so you have to define everything in your CDT or your XSD, like that we call a JPA annotation here. Okay, so these are the best practices that we should follow, whenever we are creating the CDT. And there are some limitations that also we have to take care, okay, whenever we are creating the CDT, so that we know, in future we no need to change the particular CDT name or namespace. Other things we can change, but the name and namespace we cannot change. Okay. So these are best practices and limitations. So is it fine, Anchit?
Yeah, I think Ankit, we can move ahead. If he will be having more questions, so he can ask.
Yeah, sure. So the second type, okay, to create the CDT is duplicate existing custom data types. Okay. So like we have this AB employee basic details, okay, and I can duplicate this one. So for duplicate, I have to again go to the same new tab, okay. I can have to click on data type and this template will open, okay. From here, I can select duplicate existing data type, okay. So now you can see we have an option data type to duplicate, okay. So here I will put the existing data type that we already have, okay, and it will show me this AB employee basic details, okay. This one is already, we have created, and you can see namespace is also coming. So you can identify like if I'm selected correct one or not. Okay. Now I select, and now you can see here namespace is automatically coming, name is also coming, okay, and this is description. So here you can see name and namespace both are same, okay. So if I create this, it will give me the error, okay, that this type with this name already exist in this namespace, okay. Please enter a unique name. If I change the namespace, this error will automatically remove because either one of them is unique, okay, in that case. Now, if it is same and if I change the name of this one, then also it will remove the error, okay. So suppose I'm creating a CDT, okay, with employee address. So I can simply put contains employee address. And I have to just click on create. Okay, now you can see this, it is created the CDT with the same name. If you want to change the fields also, you can change. Like in address, we do not want employee ID, okay? We want like address ID. So I can simply edit this one. And I want employee ID here just to make the relation. So I can add this one here. I want street. So I can add, I want state name. So I can add on country. I can add here, I want postal code. If I want to delete, I can click on close and it will be deleted. Okay, now I want postal code. In this one also, you cannot give space, okay? You have to give in single string. If you give space, it will give you error. Okay. Like postal code, I can say number integer. Okay. And in this one also, it is primary key. If you do not want to create it as primary key, you can simply remove. Okay. And I have to just click on save. So like this, if you know that there is one CDT and other CDT is similar to first CDT, okay, in that case we can use this feature, okay, of the Appian CDT. Now third one is create from database table or database view, okay. So suppose there is already database table exist in a database, okay. So we can use the database table and we can create the CDT and it will automatically take the, the format or the fields from that particular database table. So In similar way, you can go to here, okay, and you can select the create from database table. So in this one, it will ask you to select the particular data source. That is, in our case, it is JDBC Appian. That is a data source we will read about in next session. But data source is the connection between Appian and database. Okay, that we create. So in this one, we will select this JDBC Appian Tomcat, and there is existing table, that is DM account document, that will select, and it will create the database CDT automatically. Okay, and we can update that. So like that, we can create the CDT by using the database table as well. Okay, that we will read more about whenever we will create a database table, and we will create the particular CDT using the database table. But for today, we can simply know that with the help of database table also or view also, we can create database table, CDT. In that one, we have to just select data source that we want. Okay, they that Appian can be connected with multiple database, or as many as database we have connected, we can create the data source. Okay, so data source can also be multiple. Appian provide a out-of-the-box database, that is MariaDB, that have one database data source, that is JDBC Appian Tomcat. But in some cases, I do not want to use the Appian existing database or the out-of-the-box database MariaDB. I want to use my own database, that is MS SQL or Oracle. Then I have to create a different data source for me. Okay, so I can use that data source here, and I can use my table that exists in that particular database. Okay, and I can create the CDT. Okay, so this is the third way of creating the CDT. Okay, so these are very simple way to create the CDT. You do not need to do anything. Appian provide the template. You have to just complete the template. You have to just add your fields, follow the best practices, and put the particular data type, and it will be created. So it is very easy to create a custom data type in Appian that we can use in future to organize the data. If I want to use define the structure of a database table, then also I can use. If I want to write in database, or to take the input from user in Appian, that in that case also I can use the CDT, that we will learn whenever we will learn about Appian interfaces, how we can take the input from user and how we can put those input into CDT, and how we can store that CDT data into database. Okay, that is a complete process that we will learn in our regular sessions or some next sessions. But today we can only work on how to create the CDT, and from these first three methods: create from scratch, duplicate existing data type, create from database table or view. Fourth is import XSD, that we will learn in our next session. But XSD, like schema, definition language of XML. So in that one, we define the database template in XML file. We define the name of the CDT, we define the name of the table that is associated with the particular CDT. We will define the columns, field name, field type, or the column configuration in table, like what is the type of database table field name, and everything. We will create the particular XSD template, and then we will import that XSD template to create the CDT. Okay, so this is the fourth way to create CDT that we will learn in our next session. Now, for today, we have learned about three methods. Okay, so whenever we will have an environment, we will practice on that. So we already requested for the Appian environment, and we are waiting. So all the requests are in queue. So most probably in next week we'll get the access. So we are communicating with Appian for that, and whenever we will get the access, we will provide you.
Ankit, there is one more question. So Anchit is asking, can custom data types be used in interfaces, process models, or rule design object across the application?
Yes, we can use. Okay, you have to create CDT or custom data type once only, and you can use across the environment. Okay, so there are multiple applications. Okay, and each application have some interfaces, some expressions like business logics or workflow like process models. You can use anywhere that particular data type. There is no any limitation.
Okay, so Anchit, if you are online, so I think Ankit answered your both the questions. Yeah, Ankit, go ahead.
Okay, so know that if you have any query, you can we can discuss or no on this call. If you are learning from the recorded video, you can, and if you have a question, you can put the comment on video, or you can go through that our YouTube channel, and you can find some other questions as well there. And then also, if you have questions, so you can put those queries in this email ID training@thecodemaestro.com, or you can put that queries on Telegram channel as well. So we have link in description, so you can go through and you can learn. Okay, whenever you have question, you can ask. So
Okay.
that's all about.
Thank you, Ankit, for wonderful session. So I think you shared lots of new insight about Appian. And guys, those who are live, if you have any question, so Ankit already told you like different platforms are available. You can ask questions. And if you are watching the recording and if you are struggling and want to discuss things, so I think, in my opinion, this email ID or Telegram group will be the best way if you want to communicate with Ankit about the doubts. Okay, with this note, this week we planned only 2 sessions, those are already delivered. So next week also we'll be having 2 more sessions, and maybe hopefully we'll be having the Appian environment so that you can start doing some practice. Okay, so I think we can end the session, Ankit. So thank you so much for sharing the knowledge. And guys, see you next week with some more Appian related stuff. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone.